everybody, this is Alex Merced and welcome to another video on data modeling. And in this video, we're going to be talking about is the inheritance pattern. If you enjoy these videos, make sure to hit like and subscribe, and also leave a comment and follow me on LinkedIn and Twitter. But in this video, what I'm going to be focusing on is the inheritance pattern, which is very much like object-oriented programming. If you've ever done it in programming in like Python, JavaScript, C, C++, name your favorite language. Well, maybe not C, since they don't have classes there. But the idea is the idea that you can have a sort of a hierarchy of object types that can inherit things from each other. Well, we can do that not just through programming, but through the way we model our data too. Okay, oftentimes the two are very interlinked. When you are creating your classes in programming, what you are doing is essentially modeling your data. Okay, the only difference is that it's not just the properties, you're also describing the behaviors through your functions in programming. Cool. So let's just throw you a few different approaches to how we can handle sort of inheritance, in the sense of the idea that there's multiple types of an object. Okay, so we're going to have three types: single table inheritance, class table inheritance, and concrete table inheritance. I'm going to use the example of like sort of like D&D characters. One, because I know I've been playing Baldur's Gate 3 the last several months, and I'm sure many of you have, because it's the game of the year. Let's pretend we have our customers, or not customers, our characters table. Okay, and every customer is gonna, every character is gonna have an ID, every character is gonna have a name, and then they're just their base stats. So strength, wisdom, dexterity. Okay, dexterity. I always forget all of them. Charisma, constitution, and I want to say there's one more. Wisdom, intelligence. Okay, and I think that kind of covers the main bit. I might be missing one. Okay, but the idea is that every character, regardless of what their class is going to have all these properties. But again, certain classes are going to have spells. Okay, certain classes are going to have cantrips. Okay, certain classes are going to have different types of skills that they have. Okay, now what happens if I were to create a character? Oh, and we should probably also add a column for class. Insert one column to the right, class. So here in single table inheritance, we're going to represent every possibility in one table. Okay, that's why it's called single table inheritance, just when things don't apply. So for example, let's say we have a character. Okay, we'll say Karlak. Okay. Who's going to probably have a lot of strength, maybe not as much wisdom, but a decent amount of dexterity, charisma. Yes, I mean, everyone who plays the game loves Karlak, but constitution, probably pretty decent. Intelligence, we'll say 12. Okay, so there's Karlak, who is a barbarian. Okay. But barbarians really don't have any spells. So that would be nothing there, no cantrips, because that's really more magic user type stuff, but they may have like barbarian skills. Okay, so things like I forget what it's called when they enrage. I don't really play many barbarian characters. We'll just say rage. Okay, so notice that we didn't put anything for spells and cantrips. So the idea behind single table inheritance is you just put everything that's possible in one table and just fill in the fields that apply. Okay, and if the ones that don't apply, you just leave blank. That's cool. Another way you could do this is this class table inheritance. So in this case, what I would do is I would basically probably copy this. Okay, and then we would maybe have so basically this would capture the sort of the universal character properties. Okay, and then maybe we have like a class. Let me think about how we would do that. We would just probably have a class table. So in this case, we would have like a barbarian table. Actually, but let's use a different character. So we'll use a wizard table. And we'll use everybody's favorite magical item eating character, Gale. So now Gale will be who's not going to have that much strength, but a decent amount of wisdom, a high amount of intelligence. So let's go with the full 18 there. 12. 15. Okay, and there's Gale. And then we're going to say, hey, class. So then here we're going to use the, from a previous video, we'll use the polymorphic approach where basically we'll have, the class name, and then we'll have the stats, or we'll just say have class props ID. So in this case, this would say wizard, and this will say 1. And basically the idea is that using that polymorphic pattern, we can identify sort of, hey, this is the ID they have in the wizard table, and we can find the rest of Gale's information in that wizard table. So Gale's the first wizard. Okay, so again, we'll make a table here, ID, then we'll have like maybe spells, cantrips. Okay, we'll say level 1 spell slots, level 2 spell slots, level 3 spell slots. Okay, and if you ever played D&D in more recent versions, essentially the idea here is a spell slot is sort of how you're able to cast a spell at that level. So like if I have 2 spell slots, 2 level 2 spell slots, I can cast 2 level 2 spells. And if you haven't played Baldur's Gate 3, you really should. It's a really good game, even if you've never played D&D. So in this case, we would match that up and we'd say, hey, this may be an array property. So we'll say, hey, Gale has Fireball, Mage Hand. Although Fireball is a cantrip, so let me get rid of that. Maybe actually think about that. Fireball or fire. Whatever. We're just going to say for speak with animals. Speak with dead. I forget what the exact name is. I think it's speak with dead. Where you can talk to people who died. And then cantrips would be like fireball. These are just basically spells that take no spell slots. Okay? And then we'll say, Gale has 3 level 2 spell slots there, 1 spell slot here. Okay, but you see here, all the class-specific details are in a separate table. Okay, so essentially we're inheriting the additional sort of more specific attributes from another table, and we can identify which table we're going to inherit it from using sort of this right here. Okay, which is, again, a throwback to the polymorphic pattern from an earlier video, which makes sense because when we talk about, if we ever talk about object-oriented programming, what are the attributes of object-oriented programming? Polymorphism, inheritance. Okay, so we're seeing those things combine in the way we model our data. Okay, so you can kind of actually really kind of see it in action here. So that's the class table inheritance, where basically you have that additional class. Now, the third one, the concrete table, would be if I just create a table for every possibility. So in this case, I just have a wizard table. There is no character table. And then for all my wizard characters, we would have all this. And then we would have this. Okay, and then basically all the information about Gale would be there. Nice thing is I don't have to join the data. I don't have a bunch of blank fields in my rows. Okay, so I'm not necessarily storing blank data. But again, also you now have more tables, and you would have to like logically make sure you can't just say, hey, anytime I'm trying to grab information about a character, go to the character table. I have to first know what the character is and look at the right table. So it just changes the way you would program your application, but it's just another way you could store the data. But all of these allow you to handle sort of multiple variations of the same type of objects, or inheritance, where you have sort of like these variations on sort of the core base class, the base class being character, and then wizard, barbarian, bard, all these other things being sort of variations on that inherit those core attributes plus other stuff. Okay, and these are some ways you can model that when you're modeling your data. Okay, so hopefully you guys enjoy that. My name is Alex Merced. I'll see y'all later. Again, make sure to like and subscribe. I'll see you then.